JB, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today, man. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Well, before we get started talking about the upcoming album, just wanted to make sure you and your family is all safe and everyone's good during this time.
Yeah, everyone I know is safe and isolating and a little bit bored, but we're all healthy, so that's the important thing.
That's good. That's good. What are you doing to keep busy?
Well, I have a 2-year-old son that keeps my wife and I very busy because he requires constant entertainment. I'm trying to play a lot of guitar and record playthrough videos and stuff. And, with the record coming out on Friday, we have been doing a fair amount of press. So there's certainly things to occupy our time. Watch Tiger King on Netflix.
Yeah, how are you liking that?
I kind of love it, to be honest. We're 5 of the 7 episodes in, and we're only doing one a night to kind of space it out a little bit. But
yeah, that's a good call.
It's super entertaining and just a ridiculous story. So I'm very compelled.
Yeah, definitely, man. I have no idea how I'd never heard about that before.
Me neither.
That's cool. Okay, well let's get to work. Let's do this. The new album coming out, Guardians, as you said, coming out on Friday. I got a chance to listen to it a few times now and absolutely love it. Amazing job. It sounds fantastic. Super.
Thank you so much.
I just wanted to know, in your opinion, how does this album differ from your previous albums?
Well, I think there's 2 things that make it very different from the last couple. Number one, I think it's a lot heavier than Phantom Anthem and Found in Faraway Places were. In fact, I think it's the heaviest thing we've ever done. I'll leave that up to the fans to debate, but in my opinion, it's the most just heavy, crushing album we've ever released. And second of all, I think that it's the most concise songwriting we've ever done. I think we wrote songs more. We cut out parts, we didn't go down as many little side paths in the songs as we've been doing on the past few records. And that was a conscious effort to try to keep the album super aggressive and in your face sort of from start to finish. So as a result, we cut out a lot of the interludes and stuff. There are a few of them still, but it's more focused on the aggressive side than the experimental side.
I also read that you guys recorded this one in 2 sections.
Well, we had 2 different sessions for this record. We started it in April of 2019. Our bass player Dustin and I, who handled all of the songwriting for the record, we recorded everything we had written up until that point in April, and then we had to do the 10 Years of Constellations tour, the North American leg, which was took up most of the summer. So we took a break from the studio and worked at writing while on the road and, finishing up the writing process of the record. And then the last week or so of August, we went back in the studio with the whole band. And then for all of September as well. And we did the rest of the songs we had written, as well as, the vocals and drums and the mixing and stuff.
One of the quotes that I got from the press release about the album was, there's a loose theme of being there for another person who's reaching out for help. I just think it's super fitting during this time that an album with this message comes out.
Yeah, you make a good point, especially during this strange time we're all going through right now with the pandemic. But I think it's a theme that rings true even when we're not dealing with something so catastrophic on a global level. There's always people, be it someone close to you or someone that you might just pass on the street and not even know who they are, who might be going through something, we don't know what, and they need someone to be there for them and be their rock or pick them up and help them through something that they're struggling with. And we feel like if we're all doing our part to look out for others in that way, we're all, as a society, going to be better off. Because it's really hard to deal with some of the stuff that comes our way in just our lives, and to try to conquer that stuff alone is difficult. It's so much better when you have someone on your side and helping you through things.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So with the themes, were there any people in specifically that you guys had in mind when writing process was happening?
The lyrics were written mostly by Matt Greiner, our drummer, and by Brent Rambler, our other guitar player. And I don't like to speak too much on their personal subject matter. I know that they have their reasons for what they write on each song. Matt went through something, I guess it's no secret, he went through a divorce in the last year or two. And that was really hard for him. And he had some people in his life who really stood up for him and had his back. And that was definitely a source of inspiration for him in some of the lyrics that he wrote. Not all the songs are about, that situation, but that's an example.
So you guys got to work with your producers, Carson Slovak and Grant McFarlane again. They've worked now on, would this be the 7th album with you guys or 6th?
I have to think for a second. We've done every full length for us since Sled and Hill, which was 2012. Sled and Hill, Rescue and Restore, Found in Four Places, Phantom Anthem. It's at least their 5th. Okay. And Carson Slovak has been, before he ever teamed up with Grant, he's been recording for us since 2005. 2005. He did the demos that got us signed to our first record contract back in 2005. That's so awesome. He's been with us, an old friend, since the beginning.
Cool. So yeah, tell me a little bit about the about the relationship you have with these guys. Like why does it work so well? They definitely seem to be getting the best out of you.
Yeah. After so many years of doing records together, we have such a good rapport, and they understand the dynamics within our band, which can be complex, and they understand how to get the most out of each of us as individual musicians in the studio. And they know our personalities and can feel our vibes and know how to, if we're frustrated with a part, they know how to rein us in. And they know how to push us when we need to go a little bit further with something. So Carson has, like I was saying, been an old friend of ours. I've gone on vacation with him. He and his band, he was in a band called Century years ago that were signed to Prosthetic Records, and August Burns Red did some touring with them. And then Grant McFarlane partnered with Carson over a decade ago now, I'd say. And he used to drum for a band called This Is the Apocalypse, who's a metal band from Lancaster that we've also toured with and have a good relationship with. So we knew these guys as they were coming up and sort of honing their skills as producers. And while we were doing a few other records with Tu Madsen and Jason Sukoff and various producers, Carson and Grant were getting better and better at their craft to the point where we then felt comfortable to, try an actual full length with them. So we did that Christmas album, Sled and Hill, in 2012, which was sort of our test to see how things would go with them handling a full length versus just doing demos.
Right.
And it was a really good experience, and we never looked back. There's just something nice about recording at home when you tour so much that you don't have to leave home to go make a record. You can treat it like a 9-to-5 job.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. There's that comfort there too, right?
Absolutely.
What is your favorite song off the new album?
My favorite song is Extinct by Instinct. I think it's track 9. Yeah. I didn't even write that one. It was written by our bass player, Dustin, but I really like it. And it's like the most progressive song on the record. It's probably the least heavy song on the record, which is funny because I know the album is so focused on the heavy, but as an artist, I appreciate the weirder stuff. My favorite August Burns Red record is Found in Faraway Places because of how odd it is and how many weird interludes and stuff, non-metal moments there are on that record.
Right.
So that's my favorite song. And I think that Dustin has really come into his own with songwriting on this record. He had a much bigger piece of the pie than he has in the past as far as contributing songs. Mm-hmm. We split the songwriting about 50-50 on this one.
Okay.
And in the past, he did 2 songs on Phantom Anthem and 1 song on Found in Faraway Places. So he's sort of
getting a bit more each time.
Yeah, he's getting better at the whole songwriting thing, which is awesome.
Do you think he has something to do with the album just being heavier in general?
I not necessarily. I'll tell you the reason why I think the record came out so heavy. This is a story I've told before. We had done that April session, and we had 8 songs done, and we had a lot of time to sit on those songs, of course. And Jake, our singer, said to me one day on tour, he goes, "Yeah, I really like the 8 songs you guys did. They're cool, but this record's definitely not going to be as heavy as Phantom Anthem was." And I thought to myself, "Oh, okay. I thought these songs were pretty heavy, but I guess not." So I said to Dustin, Jake doesn't think this record's as heavy as it should be. We better write some bangers before we finish the record. So Dustin and I both set out to just write some aggressive heavy metal stuff, and we ended up cutting a couple songs that were less heavy. The songs that got pulled from the collection of tracks that we did were definitely the more just the less aggressive songs. So we were left with this album of just a lot of really heavy stuff as a result.
Well, speaking about your older albums, what is one of your favorite songs that you guys have ever done that might be the most underrated by fans?
Okay, there's 2 that come to mind. Actually, 3. These are 3 of my favorite songs we've ever written. We've never played any of them live, and I don't think that they're necessarily fan favorites. Vanguard off of Found in Faraway Places. I think it's track 11. I love that song so much. I'm really proud of it. And I think it's just such a cool journey. And no one talks about that song, but I really appreciate that one. And Broken Promises, which is also off of Found in Faraway Places, is one of my favorite songs we've ever written. I think it's a pretty heavy song, but it has a lot of wandering interludes in it, a lot of long instrumental sections that, I understand that might not be for everyone. It might be a little bit over some people's heads, and maybe more of a deep cut for more diehard fans or fans who are looking for something on the more progressive side. So I can understand why people aren't talking about that song, or it's not, a live favorite, but that one really hits home with me. And finally, Coordinates off of Phantom Anthem, I think is one of the best songs I've ever written. And I just feel like it's such a dense song that has so much meat to it and goes on such a cool journey. It's not very heavy. There's not any distinct big breakdowns in it. So I guess to play it live, it wouldn't have the crowd as hyped up as some of our, live staple songs might be. So, it's never made it into the set, but those are 3 songs that are really important to me.
I have a Reddit Ask segment coming up now. So I just posted that I was going to be interviewing you today and got a lot of questions from people. So we'll go through some of those. I'll go through some of the quicker ones first, just because we are running out of time slowly. So first one, boxers or briefs?
Boxer briefs, how's that?
There we go, cool. Second one here is, will you guys ever release an album in August?
Oh, I don't know. It's certainly not like a goal. Maybe if things fall that way, got a 1 in 12 chance. 1 in
12. Okay, cool. Next one here is, you guys have covered Christmas. Any chance that you'll be covering Halloween anytime soon?
No. Halloween's dumb.
Why did you say that?
It's just a dumb holiday. I'm not into dressing up. I'm not into scary stuff and ghosts and chainsaw massacres. I don't care about Halloween.
Right on. Okay. I didn't grow up with Halloween myself, so I get that.
I mean, I like the candy.
Yeah. Oh, everyone loves the candy. Are you a gamer?
No, I'm not really. I was as a kid, and I loved it. In high school and in college, I played. I played a lot of StarCraft and Diablo 2 and some, your Crash Bandicoot series and that kind of stuff. But as I got older, I found that if I was playing video games, I was guilting myself into not using my time for more productive things. So I kind of lost the hobby. And now that I'm a new dad, there's really next to no time to do the band and do video games.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. I have a friend that's exactly like you in that respect too. He never played video games because he was like, I could be drumming or making music or doing something instead. So
I just said to my wife today at breakfast, we were talking about what we'd be doing with our time if we didn't have our son, and we could just do whatever we wanted. And I said, I would totally be getting way into video games right now.
Yeah.
And I'd be writing like crazy, with music, but that's not our reality at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. What game do you think you'd be getting into if you had the time?
I think it'd be fun to play through some of the newer Metal Gear Solid games. That was one of my favorite games as a kid. The one on the PlayStation, Metal Gear Solid, and I played the sequel on the PlayStation 2, but I never played anything beyond that. So I think those games would be fun to dive into.
For sure. Yeah, they've come such a long way, for sure.
Imagine. I feel like I struggle now to even, like, the systems have evolved so much and the controllers are so complex now that I would need like practice just getting used to using the more modern controllers.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I know. Jake was saying that he's that's what he's doing right now. Is just playing a lot of games with his friends online. So maybe he could just kind of give you a nice tutorial on how to do things.
He gets to play on tour a lot too, which is cool. I'm glad he has that outlet. It's definitely fun. You know, if you have the time,
go for sure. Yeah. If you don't have a 2-year-old,
right?
Does Matt sleep with his China bell?
No, of course not.
This fan says that you guys have had an absolutely incredible career and continue to gain momentum on each release. What advice do you have for the next generation of bands or people that are trying to start out?
Well, first of all, when you're writing songs, if you don't think the song is amazing, don't expect anyone else to either. So make sure that you and the guys in your band, guys and girls in your band, are super stoked on what you've written and that you feel like it's the best you could do. And when you have a collection of songs that you feel that way about, then, you know, go record a record and then see what everyone else thinks.
That's good advice. Solid advice for sure. What is your favorite song to perform live?
I love playing Whitewashed. It's one of the easier songs that we have in the set for me, just because I've been playing it for so many years. And I love the reaction it gets from the crowd. So that song is a lot of fun to play. And let me think of something more modern. King of Sorrow is really fun to play too. It's a fun, bouncy song, and it sounds a little different, I think, from a lot of the other stuff we've done. So not only do I like the song, you know, from a musical standpoint, but it's fun to play. A lot of shreddy parts.
What are your favorite bands right now? Bands you're listening to?
I really like the new Polaris record, which is their Australian metalcore band that I like. I want to look through my iTunes quick because
actually that's going to be my last question in this segment. So
okay.
Actually, we can go right into it now. What's the last song you listened to?
I don't know why it says not playing, like the last song that was in there, just not playing. I know what the last song I listened to was. It was "What's My Age Again" by Blink-182.
Nice.
And I was just screwing around the other night after my kid went to bed, and I was just learning, the intro clean guitar part because I love Blink-182, and I just felt like playing guitar and doing something fun that wasn't necessarily constructive, just screwing around. So I was listening to that song.
What era of Blink is your favorite?
Man, that's a great question because I kind of love their whole catalog as long as Tom is in the band. Not to say that I haven't spent enough time with the latest record or either of the. Is this the second record they did without Tom? 9, the new one, or is it the first? I can't remember.
The second one, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I loved Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. I basically loved Enema of the State through the self-titled. I mean, I feel like those are their glory days. Of course, Dude Ranch is amazing as well. I love Dude Ranch, but I think what they did after that was better. Mm-hmm. And they went on their hiatus for a while and came back and did Neighborhoods. And when that record came out, I did not care about it at all. I was in another place in my life. I wasn't interested in listening to pop punk, and I didn't give it a fair listen. And then last year, for whatever reason, I listened to that record again a few times, and I really got into it, and I love it now. I think it's awesome, and it feels like I discovered like a brand new Blink-182 album because I had never given it a fair chance. So I
There's
think
some like heavy
awesome.
tracks on that too. For as far as Blink goes, like they got pretty heavy on that one.
Freaking riffs on there. It's cool. I think that it's an underrated record that didn't necessarily. I don't think fans talk about it enough, and I'm guilty of that myself.
Right. Yeah, I know. I was so excited when Matt Skiba joined the band, just because I'm a huge Alkaline Trio fan personally, and I don't know. They're definitely missing a little bit of something with Tom. I think it's just a different band now.
It is a different band. Tom to me is the driving force behind Blink. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously they're each very important in their own way, but Tom had such a distinct voice.
Yeah.
And he obviously was responsible, especially in the later years, of writing a lot of the material and pushing them in a kind of a different direction.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Like, I don't want to say post-punk, but it was not the pop punk that they were playing, in 2000.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and you heard that on that self-titled album for sure.
Yeah, they were evolving, and I liked where they were going, and I'm grateful for all the records that they have. I'm not angry that Tom, isn't in the band anymore. He that chapter of his life has come to an end, but I'm grateful that we have so many records that we can appreciate.
Yeah. What do you think about what he's doing now? All the alien stuff.
It's interesting. I follow him on social media. I think he's, I don't think he's like crazy or anything. I don't think what he's doing is, I think it's cool that he has the resources to just do that, since that's obviously a passion of his. And, he rebooted Angels and Airwaves, which is cool. And that's for those of us who are missing Blink-182 with Tom DeLonge, we at least can go listen to Angels and Airwaves and hear whatever he's working on for that project.
It's if we still have a little bit of time, I just wanted to talk about the Defender video for a little bit.
Cool.
So this is the second time you guys got to work with Dan Fusselman?
Yes, second or third, maybe even.
Yeah, I know he did like a lyric video with you guys before.
He did a video for The Frost and also for King of Sorrow.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay, so third time now.
He's like our go-to.
Yeah, I wanted to know how that relationship came to be.
Well, he was recommended to us by our marketing director, Jenny from Fearless Records. She had worked with him in the past, and the video guy over at Fearless, whose name is Sam Helene, had also done some stuff with him. So they collaborated on a couple of those videos we did from from Phantom Anthem. Mm-hmm. And then we just hit him and his team up with regards to doing Defender and another video actually that, isn't out yet. And he was game, and he had a whole bunch of cool illustrators on tap for the Defender video. We shot the performance footage at our tour rehearsal space, which is just a drum shop with like a little rehearsal room in the back. And we did everything on green screen. We didn't need a lot of space, which was really convenient. It was, I think we paid like $150 for the day to use the space. Yeah, it was really inexpensive to shoot the performance elements. But of course, there was a lot of money invested into the illustration side and a lot of post-production and stuff that was done for that video. But they spent a ton of time animating the illustrations and gathering all these illustrations from a bunch of artists. And it's definitely a very unique video for August Burns Red. We've never done anything like that before. And I'm stoked on how it came out visually. I think it's really interesting and exciting. And I feel like if you take the time to watch it a few more times, like the first time through it, I feel like I struggled to follow exactly what was happening with the storyline. But as I watched it more, I caught up on the little tidbits. It's hard to tell a whole story in 4 minutes. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And I think that's one of the difficulties of music videos. They have such a small box to tell sometimes a pretty elaborate story. So in this case, this could be a 2-hour movie,
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Into a 4-minute music video of what's, telling the story of this kid who becomes a superhero and then conquers the villain at the end,
Yeah.
But I love the video, and people seem to really like the song and think the video is cool. So props to Dan and the rest of his team for knocking it out of the park again.
That's sick. How did how did that story come about? Was that just where you just gave it to Dan and then he just ran with it, or did you guys discuss a kind of story?
Well, our other guitar player, Brent Rambler, had the idea to do a comic book themed video. He's a huge comic book fan, collects comics, and it's one of his big hobbies. So he pitched the idea, and then Dan ran with it and made the storyline, pitched it to the band. We made a few tweaks, went back and forth a little bit, and then solidified the story. And originally, the hero was going to die in the end, and we felt that was like disappointing. We wanted the hero to live, so we had the ending rewritten, and the hero was a hero at the end.
Right.
And the rest is history.
You kind of left it open for maybe something could come out of this, and maybe you guys could write the music for it. That'd be very cool.
That would be cool. Yeah, that'd be very cool.
Cool, man. I think that is everything I have on this side. Is there anything you want to say to fans?
We appreciate everyone taking the time to listen to Guardians when it comes out. We're disappointed that we can't be playing for you guys right now, but I understand it sucks for everyone. The whole world is literally on fire right now, and we all are stuck. So there was talk of pushing our record back so that people could go out and buy it, and it would help with our sales figures and blah, blah, blah. And we decided that we'd rather just have the record come out when it's supposed to, because people are so bored and need stuff to do and be excited about right now. So hopefully when the record comes out on April 3rd, you'll get a chance to stream it. Even if you can't go buy it, you can listen to it on however you consume your music. And we appreciate everyone sticking with our band for so many years. I can't believe this is our 17th year and people still care about us. And we're eternally grateful and very much excited to coming back to all these cities that we had to postpone and playing new songs for you guys and seeing everyone again.
Cool. Awesome, JB. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you. It's nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you too.
Talk to you later.